Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is Patrick Fourie. I'm the president of National Interest Foundation. I'd like to thank you all for being with us today. In reality, it's a short-term benefits that the U.S. gets when they support dictators because they end up losing the people. So it's much better for the U.S. to invest in the people around the world than investing in dictatorships.
The United States has the power and resources to create a positive change for human rights beyond its borders. The global defense of human rights is stronger when the United States joins with others to promote and protect them.
The struggle for human rights is ongoing. We see progression and regression all over the world. Human rights can't just be a slogan. It has to be internalized, and sometimes that's painful. Many of us come from cultures that are not tolerant of the other. But to be an American is to embrace that tolerance. Embrace it. Not accept it. Embrace it.
So where are we now with regard to human rights? I think we need to accept that the subordination of human rights to national security interests is the rule, not the exception. We have to accept that we can never fail to try to get them reversed. I think it's a hideous idea. I do think that if we actually honored our precepts here, we would have influence abroad.
We are responsible for taking advantage of this advantage that we have to spread it around the world, to empower other people. We define ourselves by human rights, individual rights. We define ourselves by speaking truth to power. We define ourselves by trying to move the arc of history toward justice for everybody. That is our defining characteristic as a country, and that's why this panel is so important.
The biggest losers from the absence of human rights enforcement are civilians all over the world, including us, who can no longer rely on these universal norms to protect our shared humanity. For it is preserving this shared humanity that distinguishes between a world where raw power in the form of wealth, arms, and control defines how we treat each other as people and as nations. Human rights law sets the minimum threshold of dignity that we all deserve, regardless of the circumstances of our birth, which country, which neighborhood, which parents, which race, which religion from which we belong.
One of the reasons I think it's easy to separate human rights from what's seen as sort of core foreign policy is because foreign policy itself is seen as other. The budget, despite what people think, is marginal. The number of people, even though in our circles we think everybody talks about foreign policy all the time. If you travel through most of the country, foreign policy conversations just don't take place. Ukraine is one of the few issues that permeated the American consciousness. And I think that's a choice that politicians make because they don't get constituent calls on most foreign policy issues. They can vote however they like without any consequences at home. And until that is fundamentally changed, until the American people believe that the price of gas is a foreign policy issue, that the price of wheat is a foreign policy issue, as they have started to battle through some of these major global crises, I don't think we will see a fundamental shift in Washington because there aren't sufficient pressures urging politicians to do things differently. They don't get elected on foreign policy issues.
There is a big lie, a huge lie in this topic that we need to debunk if we really need to see progress. And that huge lie is that dictatorships provide stability. This huge lie has been sold and manufactured millions and hundreds of millions of dollars to convince many people that dictatorship provides stability. All the evidence in the last 60 years proves the contrary. Proves that dictatorships do not provide stability.
And I think fighting the norms without interest, you are losing. We should create an interest for human rights rather than fighting for it as a norms. That will shift the things.